Jessie girl, hi! A big hello to you direct from Byron Bay, Australia. And an even bigger happy birthday to you, big 30. That's a huge milestone. Congrats, well done. You did it well. Year of the horse, 90s baby. I miss you so much. I honestly do, and I can't wait until the borders open up so that we can fly high in the sky and say hi. Really just proud of everything that you've achieved so far up to this point, and the adventure continues for you with the big 30. I wanted to celebrate this day by singing you a little song that I wrote just for you. A song to you from me. Midnight, strike at 12, it's only moonlight, but the moment's here to break the silence. The moment's here, it's now, it's arrived. Another lap around the sun. You bring so much joy to everyone, and so I sing to you on your birthday. I'm wishing you a happy birthday. I wish you the happiest of birthdays. I want you to have a happy birthday. I hope you have a lovely day. Another lap around the sun. You bring so much joy to everyone. Another lap around the sun. You bring so much joy to everyone, and so I sing to you on your birthday. I'm wishing you a happy birthday. I wish you the happiest of the birthdays. I want you to have a happy birthday. Oh, on your birthday. I wish you the happiest of the birthdays. I want you to have a happy birthday. I'm wishing you a happy birthday. I hope you have a lovely day. Happy birthday, Jess. A big special one to you.
Hi mate, happy birthday. So I'm just driving around doing a little bit of a video for you for your 30th birthday, which is absolutely insane that you're turning 30 when you think about where the last 30 years has gone. I am just driving around. I thought for your video I might just drive around into a few different significant places and tell some stories and stuff like that. I guess the first story for me starts late 1989. I remember I was in grade 1. Mum was just dropping me off to school. We're at Beaudesert. I was at Beaudesert State School. Back in the day, our classroom had like this little veranda and it had steps that led to that veranda. Mum's dropped me off. I put my school bag on a rack, gone into the classroom. I've heard like a thump, like a fall, basically. I've gone back out to the veranda. I look down and Mum has taken a fall down these stairs and she's at the bottom of the stairs, basically. I was upset and freaking out. The teachers were obviously a little bit worried and they've just basically directed me to go back into the classroom, which I did because it was Jelly Bean and Smarties Day that day. So I was pretty keen to get back in there because that was definitely the highlight of school for me. So I went back in, hooked into the Smarties, hooked into the Jelly Beans and, I thought she'll be right. And that was it. So went to the day and I got home from school. There was 3 things that I really remember significantly. Number 1 was Mum taking that fall. Number 2 was the Smarties and the Jelly Beans they were on point that day. They were really good. The third thing that I remember very, very vividly is going home that day. Mum sitting me down and explaining to me why she basically had a fall. And it was at that point that she explained to me that she'd gone to hospital and been confirmed that I was going to have a little baby sister. That was where it all began for me. So late 1989 was the first time that I knew you were in existence, and that was basically how the story started. I've just pulled up to the first significant place that we're going to go and have a bit of a look at. And yeah, let's go check it out. Here we are. Let's fast forward to July 12th, 1990. And it's at this location where I stand right now that we met for the first time. I remember the day still. It's another significant point in our lives. So here we are, Beaudesert Hospital. That was where you were born, right in those doors just behind there. I got to have the day off school, so it was another significant point coming to meet you for the first time. So I didn't know what to expect. And obviously, for a 7-year-old kid, it's a significant time for me in my life. And Mum being Mum was building it up. I remember going through and waiting around hours and hours and hours. I remember going to the room and I saw Mum and there was a little baby crib and all that sort of stuff. And it was there that I looked over and I saw you for the first time. Just a little baby just laying there. I think it was Mum who asked me, she goes, "Oh, so what do you think?" I do remember this very vividly, and I'm sure Mum will back this up. I remember standing there, looking down and being like, yeah, she's all right. And that was it. And I was right. You were all right. And that was the first time we met at this exact location. Let's maybe see if we can go and take a look. Come on, let's go. And that's where it was, straight down there. As I was saying, we're in July, you've just left hospital and you're basically home for the first time. Look, I remember leading up to you being born. I guess being an only child, it was something that I was probably feeling somewhat anxious about. Yeah, I mean, being an only child, you didn't know what to expect. And I remember telling Mum that when you got home, I was going to blue tack you to the ceiling. I think I told her I might feed you some flies, perhaps, but I can't remember that. But I do definitely remember my plan was to blue tack you to the ceiling. Fortunately, that didn't happen. You did get home. We actually got along quite well. The first house that you ever lived in was this one right here. And that was the ceiling that I had planned to blue tack you to. If you have a look at this old tree right in there, that tree has our name carved in it. We carved our name in that tree on our very last day at this property. Your name, my name, and we put Rusty's name there as well. And that was the first place that you lived in. That's where it all kicked off. Right out here in the good old Bowie. in this house at that hospital. So let's get cracking, let's hit the road and see what else we can get up to. So we're now in 1992. We've just done a bit of a trip over the mountain from Beaudesert and we've just moved to the Gold Coast for the first time. You were about 2 years old at that stage, not even. We just moved into a little modest apartment in Palm Beach. Knew nothing, knew nobody. That place was right here. Number 1, Melissa Place. Our apartment was just right up there. Right next to it and up one level was Kerry Winter, Glenn and Deb. They become our first people that we ever met and our first friends on the Gold Coast. Crazy because it's 30 years later, almost 30 years later, and all those guys are still family friends. That was a great sort of introduction that we could come here and live there for the first time and all of us be fortunate enough to find our first friend. We didn't stay here for very long, so I'm not going to stay here for very long either. We're going to keep cruising and keep doing our trip down memory lane. So let's see what we can do. The year's now 1994, which means we've been on the Gold Coast for about 2 years now. We've moved around to a few different places from that first address that we lived at in Melissa Quarter, Palm Beach. And we moved to a little street called Water Down Drive. This bridge right here, I'm sure you remember it. You remember this bridge at Currumbin. This is the bridge that you jumped off. I can't remember how old you were, maybe 4, I don't know, but you're a nutter. I'm pretty sure I was the responsible brother and tried to stop you. I don't recall trying to encourage you in any way. If I did, then I have no recollection of that memory. But I do remember you jumping off and being an absolute nutter and doing that, and I'm sure you do as well. Which means that if that's that bridge there, just behind here, these houses right behind over there, that's Water Down Drive. So there we go. There is a better camera angle for us, and those houses right over there is the famous Water Down Drive. We've moved in here, and I guess it's 1994, 95, and things are really starting to change in our lives and start to take shape. And we met some really, really cool people. In fact, we were fortunate enough just to not meet our first friends at this location, but I guess we met our first best friends because 2 doors down the road from where we lived in that little place at Water Down Drive was 2 little kids. One was my age, one was your age, named Clayton and Freya. And, you know, as I say, the rest is history. To almost, 20, 25 years later, we're still friends with those guys and still deeply involved in our lives. Water Down Drive was such a fun place, I think, for all of us. That's where, things really started to take off for us, I think, as far as our lives are concerned and who we are. We did meet some cool people apart from Freya and apart from Clay. Guys like Eleanor were introduced into our lives. I made some great lifelong friends who I still speak to today. People like Scotty and Jade and, people who aren't just friends of mine, but friends of the family and friends of yours and always will be. But I do remember a lot back in those days of us just running amok in the street, climbing on roofs, swimming out the back in the lake with Rusty in the Titanic. I remember we used to play schools a lot as well. Remember that game where Clay and I were the kids and you and Freya was the teacher and the principal. And Freya was a hard-ass principal. I remember getting suspended and expelled a couple of times, but they were really fun. The game for Clay and I was just to try and be as bad as we possibly can, but you guys didn't see the funny side of it, unfortunately, at that particular time. One of the things I do remember is the famous song Situational Prank for Stitch Up that I did for that song Alice, Who the Fuck is Alice? Remember that song where that was the chorus, Alice, who the fuck is Alice? And anyway, I remember one day, me being me, I just wanted to stitch you up, I guess, and play a bit of a prank, and it was absolutely perfect. So I remember that Mum was pulling up in the driveway, and I just had this idea that we're gonna play this song and we're gonna sing it. And I know you knew the lyrics and it was funny, but what you didn't know is Mum had just pulled up. So Mum's pulled up and I've cranked the song. The chorus is about to come on and the timing was absolutely perfect. Mum opens up the door just as the chorus is playing. I've turned down the radio and here's you screaming, Alice, Alice, who the fuck is Alice? Just your face, Mum's face. It was, another classic stitch up. That particular time, that's, as I said, we started to develop our, sense of humour. That was the first stage, and it still had a fair way to go to develop into where we are today and, the things that we laugh at today. That was certainly the starting point. Let's go check around what else is happening here. I just had a bit of a wander up from the bridge that we were just at, and I thought I would come down and have a bit of a look around as to what's around here. So let's fast forward. So we finished off, it was about 94, 95, we're living at Waterdown Drive. A couple of years later, just across from that bridge, we moved to the famous complex. Remember this place? I can't seem to get in there. It does appear that they've got better security these days. Like I said, it's 1997 and we've just moved from Waterdown Drive to the famous complex. This place was full of absolute adventure. There were so many funny moments, so many parties that we'd had with kids, with who lived in the complex, kids who we went to school with, and it was just a really good time in a lot of ways. I guess we were becoming older and in some ways we were becoming closer, but in some ways we would absolutely love to fight a lot. One of the biggest fights was always who had front seat in the Daewoo, that little red Daewoo. Do you remember that? That was all on like cats and dogs every single time. And I guess, I was going through my teenage years and was probably a little bit angry and had to shits at a lot of things. So I did carry on a little bit back in those days, but, it was what it was back then. Even though we used to fight a lot, one thing was always the fact that I was always your big brother and I always had your back. And I think you always knew that. Even when we did live here, remember that time where I tapped you with my foot and then you started screeching and you told Mum that I kicked you, but I didn't. I just tapped you with your foot. So you probably gave it back to me just as good as what I gave it to you. But even though we fought back then, we were still building as far as what our connection was and what our relationship was. We introduced some really great people into our lives at this particular stage. Will come into our lives, who's still a great friend of mine and extremely loyal to you and to the family. So yeah, some great people were introduced. Of course, there was Crystal, who came into our lives as well. And obviously the one and only Ginger, George, who has been a great addition to the family and has always been there since that day, the first time he got in the car, and he hasn't changed not one little bit since. There was some really sad times in the fact that, this is at the point that we had to say goodbye to Rusty. We also had AJ into our lives. We had the mother cat and also Marilyn. So there was a lot going on, a lot of friends being made, a lot of parties being had, a lot of fights, tears, but also a lot of laughs and a lot of good times in this complex. I think it brings back a lot of good memories for what was about to come. So let's go check out what was about to come. It's now the late 90s, 98, 99 roughly. We've been living in the complex for a little bit. You're at Eleanora State Primary School. And this is it. This is the primary school that you spent all your primary school years at. I was at high school at the time and I just got my license and I had my first car, which was the Colt, and I'm not too sure whether you remember, I'm sure you do, but I used to pick you up every day from this exact location that we're in right now. I used to do that Mr. Bean dance. It wasn't even the Mr. Bean dance, I don't think, but it was that dance we used to do up the street, and you would just piss yourself. You just thought that was the funniest dance, and I still do it. It's still probably the best move that that I've got. So yeah, they were those years, late 90s. Like I sort of touched on a little bit earlier, our relationship and our connection as far as our sense of humour was really starting to kick in. And little things like doing a dance and stuff like that, I used to do that just to make you laugh, and that I think brought us a lot closer together as far as what our relationship was becoming. But your relationship with other people was about to blossom as well. You were about to meet some really, really fantastic people. Maybe, I believe probably some of the best friends that you will ever meet in your life. People like Heidi and Kat. I remember the first time you got drunk, it was actually with Kat. And I probably have to take a little bit of responsibility, perhaps, maybe on that one, because, well, it was my alcohol, and you were in my room, and I was assured, though, in my defence, I was assured that, everything was going to be fine, there was nothing to worry about, everybody was going to be responsible, you just wanted a little bit of a swig on some wild turkey. And that was it. At face value, I took it as that. I agreed that you could have some, believing what you said, that everything was going to be fine. And next thing I remember, I walk into my room and here's you and Kat monkey bar swinging on my gym set. The gym set was swaying. We're talking hundreds of kilos. And it was probably at that point where I was like, oh yeah, I might have made a bit of a shit call here, and this is probably not going to end well. But it ended fine. It was okay. As time went on, you met some more great people. Obviously, Cara has been a fantastic friend. And then you had Joel, Jesse, and Johnny, the J crew, who I really liked as well, and got along and consider those guys, and still do. As friends of mine and the family, and not just yours. So after that, you went to Eleanor High School. That's what we both did. Here it is, right here, Eleanor High School. Place you went to where you were fortunate enough to meet all those great people. And that brought you through to the end of high school. There was a lot that sort of happened in between there as well. So I think we should go and check out what happened there. That's just introducing some of the people and obviously your schools and where we're at that particular stage in our life. So let's see how everything else panned out after that. So it's now the turn of the century, roughly close to late 90s, early 2000s. Life's really good, it's a great time to be alive. We've just moved out of the complex. We moved into a street called Tellabudger Drive. So that's where we are now. And as I touched on before, things are really starting to change. Firstly, our relationship is concerned, and I mentioned a little bit earlier that a lot of that come down to things like our personality, especially our sense of humour. For the first time was really, I think, on the same page. I just remember laughing just so much, We used to just laugh at everything, usually other people. Most of the time it was at the expense of other people. And it was certainly, whenever we weren't allowed to laugh, would be the time that we would absolutely laugh the most. I remember some family Christmas lunches there. When you try and stop yourself from laughing, you equalise with your nose and then push pressure on your ears. I had an earache from Christmas lunches some years from trying not to laugh. I think that sense of humour hasn't changed at all. We just each and every time we just seem to laugh more and more at the expense of other people. Usually it's mum, and it was probably around about that time that mum started to get a little bit crazier each year, and we found that a little bit funnier and just to take the absolute piss out of her. And they were really good years, those times. Glad that we still have that same sense of humour. During that period as well, things were changing and we were becoming adults. Things like your friends would start hanging out with my friends, would hang out in the garage on weekends, your friends with my friends as well. People like Johnny, Jesse, Joel, Cara, obviously we mentioned this story about Kat and stuff earlier, would all be in the garage on the weekend, would all be hanging out, having fun. I would try and teach your friends things like balance and etiquette, and I hope that set Johnny up for much success in his life, and he's still living by those values as well. So look, it was a really good time. There was also some times, I guess, where people showed us their true colours. And so it wasn't always great. There was some loyalties from people who we would expect to be more loyal, who probably didn't do that, and that sort of sucked at the time. But I guess it brought us even closer together, if anything. That was the good thing that come out of all of those times as well. Doesn't matter whether it was good or bad times, we come out of it even better. And look, I'm right out the front of the famous house now. Have a look at it now. It's 182 Culbudger Drive. There's the garage that we spent most of our youth in. So that took us through to about 2006. Talking from late 90s to 2006, it was quite a period there. When we first moved into this place, you and I, we were just like a typical brother-sister sibling rivalry where we would fight and we would argue and all that sort of stuff. By the time we'd left this place, we had an unbreakable bond. That was going to be unbreakable for the rest of our lives. No matter how much we give each other the shit sometimes, when we left 182 Culbudger Drive, we did have a bond that was unbreakable. That was one of the best things to come out of that as well. Some good years here and some really, really fun times. I guess one of the best things that we didn't realise at the time is as good as what it was when we were living here and as much fun as that we did have. It was only the beginning. Life was about to get a whole lot better. We didn't realise that. It certainly did get better. So let's go have a check out as to what happened next. So I'm just driving around the coast here. Where we finished off for was Tally Drive in 2006. From that point on, we lived in a few different places. We went to Merthyr Drive, Laurentia, then to Nobby's Beach. I guess, through that time, we had different places. We sort of moved everywhere every couple of years. During that time, I guess we didn't really have a proper home. What we did do is we met some really great people along the way during that time. And it was a really good period, I think. We had a lot of fun, and we got Ollie and we got Layla and you met, friends like Tiff and so on. But everything was still, enjoying our lives, and everything was really good, I guess. And hang on, what have we got? Got some bloody hitchhiker. Hang on. What's going on here? Need a lift, mate?
Oh, yeah? How's it going?
Here, we got a bloody hitchhiker. Here, I might have something to say to you.
Oh, hey. Hey, Jess, how you going? Happy birthday. Happy 30th. You're getting old now, eh? Good to see you come a long way in the time that I've known you, and you're kicking ass over in England, and hopefully we'll catch up soon. Happy birthday. Have a good one.
Oh, happy birthday, Jeff. Oh, sorry, I stuffed up. I mean, Jess. I thought I'd send you a happy birthday and an early birthday present. Just have a listen to this.
That's what he is, and it happens. Sometimes you just go, I don't want to get hit anymore. I don't want to hit people anymore, and that's where he's at. Anyway.
Tristan from Regent's Park, the Broncos game last night. What was your take on it?
It's the same as Mardo, mate, or Cody. I went to bed at half time, mate. Yeah. And as I said to Nick or Cody, mate, I said I'm gutted, I'm disgusted, and I'm disgraced, mate. And I feel like going up to Corey if it wasn't, you can't touch people and giving them a big hug, mate. Same with Webkin, same with Side A and all the good boys, mate, because when I come from Broken Hill, I came up in 92, mate, and that's when I knew about rugby league.
Well, did you watch that first season when they won the premiership?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. That's how good I know the Broncos could be.
Yeah. Now, Tristan, it's been enjoyable analysing. Oh, it's Tristan.
Bentio, you were talking about. We don't need. I know, but
There
it's
you go, Jess. Happy birthday.
G'day, Jess. Happy 30th birthday. Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty big shock to me. I can't believe how the years have flown by. I think my most vivid memory of you was when you give yourself a haircut with Freya in the garage. I think at that moment I realised that you weren't going to be a hairdresser. Yeah, you've done some really cool things in your life. Hope you're really proud of some of your achievements. Hope you have an awesome day and many more to come. Happy birthday from all of us over here.
Happy birthday, Jess. Wish your heroes of the day would have an extra person to brag how big of a legend he is, and they would give me the break. Anyway, have a good day.
Hey, mate. So I'm just finishing off your video. So this is going to be my final sequence, final phase, or final thought for your 30th birthday. Where I'm sitting today is in our own home. We're in the present time. It's 2020. For the last 5 years since you've been away, I've been working really hard, and we all have. We've been able to accomplish some great things, and one of those things is that we have our own home. It's probably the first times that it felt like we've had our own home, or a real home, since 2006. To be honest, it feels great. It feels like a real sense of accomplishment for the family. Certainly something that I feel very proud of. In saying that, there is one thing that's missing, or there's one thing that this place is missing, and that's some more memories with you in it, that's for sure. I've really enjoyed doing this trip down memory lane, and I hope you have too. I guess one of the things that dawned on me while doing this is that when I was in England last week, we went out for lunch and, doing the Big Brother thing. I was trying to, talk you into coming back home and, telling me how good Australia is and all that sort of stuff. And you asked me a question along the lines of like, why do you want me to come home? And I was probably, I can't remember what I answered. I don't think I had an answer because it's not something I had broken down from my point of view before, because in my mind it was like, well, this is your home. This is where your family is. This is where your best friends are. The pugs are here. It's the best place in the world, and so on and so on. But I guess doing this video, it made me realize that the reason I want you to come home is because without you here, it makes life a little bit less enjoyable for everybody. And I think for this house to really feel like home and to be complete, we need to have our complete family here, I guess. There's that, and there's the other thing as well is that I want to be here making those memories with you so that in 30 years' time, when I'm doing your 60th birthday video, we have some new memories that I can recall. And I don't want to get to a point where I am doing your 60th birthday video and I have to record the who the fuck is Alice Stitcher for stories. So I hope we can make some more memories. And yeah, I guess that's why one of the real reasons that to answer your question from that day is why I personally want you to come home. And I understand when you come home, it probably won't be the Gold Coast because you like the big cities and stuff like that, and it's probably going to be more like Melbourne. And so I thought based on that, I would take the initiative to do a bit of a Google search on Melbourne, and I'll tell you what, mate, it's bloody amazing. So I've got some facts here for you. First thing I learned about Melbourne is that it has 4 seasons in one day. Did you know that? You only get 2 a year in London, and even then, that's either cold or really fucking cold. So basically, you can double your yearly season average in one day. How good's that? So you can't complain about that. Second thing, in my little facts here, Melbourne won the most livable city 7 years in a row. 7 years for most livable. I did try and find where London finished, but I couldn't scroll down that far, so I'm not too sure. And the third thing about Melbourne is that we have nice trams, and they're quiet. They don't make a screeching noise that sounds like a 747 has just crash landed in your backyard. That's very nice. The other thing too is you can sit on a seat without having somebody's elbow in your throat. So look, I don't make the rules, but there's just some things to think about. But look, in all seriousness though, I do understand that you're over there and you're doing your own thing. You're learning a lot. You're having heaps of fun. I guess this is the last thing I want to leave you with, Jess, and that's that. Number one, no matter where you are, you're always going to be my little sister, and I'm always going to be proud of that, and our bond will never break. And number two, you make the lives of people around you better. Now, it might be selfish, but I don't really care because in my life, I want my life to be better. I want Mum's life to be better. I want the pug's life to be better. I want all your friends' lives to be better. And having my little sister back here, we'll do that. And I know that one day, and I'm not saying soon, but one day when you do come back home, that will happen. All of our lives will be better, and we'll be making a lot more memories together for the next 30 years. So that's the answer to your question on that day is why do you want me to come home? And in a nutshell, that's basically it. Until then, keep doing your own thing, taking on the world, just enjoying life as you have been, and we will be back together. So that's it. Happy birthday, mate. See you later.
Oh my. Still practicing. Give me a second.
Hey Jess, it's your favourite engaged couple here. Show her the ring. We're out here in Cromer Rockpools having a bit of a walk this afternoon. We're lucky enough on the Gold Coast. The restrictions have been eased a little bit, so we've been out and about this afternoon. We just wanted to film a nice video out here for you to wish you a happy 30th birthday. We hope you're having a nice day. I'm sure your roommates are doing something nice for you while we're all stuck inside at the moment. I'm sure we'll get a chance to video chat to you on the day to wish you a happy birthday. But first I want to say happy birthday, bye for now. I'm sure we'll get to see each other again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hey Jess, I just saw a pug walk past on the beach and that's just the perfect time to think of you and wish you a happy birthday. I'm so sad that we can't all be there with you, but I know you'll have a pretty cool COVID party and we can do all the partying when you get back to Australia for a visit, whenever that is. I love you so much, mate. I can't wait to see you again, and you're such a big and important part of my life, and that's always going to be the case. Have a great day. Do whatever you want to do. This is my first take. I'm not going to take it on the take. Anyway, here's the beach at Burleigh. I wish you could be here. All the best, and happy 30th.
Happy 30th birthday, Jess, Jesso, J Lang. I hope you have the best 30th birthday that we can possibly throw you. And despite not being able to go on the adventure we wanted to go on, I'm sure you'll have an amazing day. I'm so happy that 4 years ago we met disgruntled in the kitchen and that you moved to Tooting, and now we get to have loads of adventures together. And I love you so much, and I'm super proud that you're in this amazing job that you love, and I can't wait for more adventures. And I can't wait to see where the next decade of your amazing life takes you. I love you lots. Mwah.
Once upon a time, there was a girl, that's you, and boy, that's me. They cemented that friendship out the front of Karen's, that's Karen. They laughed, some, a lot, but that's fine, because YOLO. But little did they know the adventures that were to come. From nights out in Poland, to Moroccan dreams, and Croatian seas. From dancing at Pride, to running from fireworks, to helping us move inside. From Portsmouth to the balcony, we've always had our favourites, and you, well, you're one of them. Happy birthday, my friend. Looking forward to a lifetime of adventures with you.
Greetings, Jessica, and oh, fucking hell. Greetings, Jessica. I hear you're turning 30 soon. I have some experience in that, and let me tell you, it feels no different. So, you know, yeah, we've had some good times over the years, and thankfully, I don't have video footage of all of it. I do have some that's, you know, debatable whether I should share it or not.
It's out of control!
Like under your nose, it looks like a mustache.
Alright, so I just had a look at those clips, and after screwing up half a dozen times I just realized in none of those clips I actually wished you a happy birthday, which is kind of the point of the whole video thing. I'm gonna make sure I do that now. Happy birthday, Jess. I hope you have a great 30th birthday, and I hope we get to celebrate soon together in Australia, or maybe in Europe, who knows, wherever the hell that may be. Either way, I'm sure it'll be a good time, and I hope you have a good time too over there for your birthday. I'll see you soon.
Happy birthday, Jess. I made you a video, but apparently it's too long.
You're alive. We're alive. We're all alive. We're still here. Good news, great news. Yeah, wow.
So here's a short and sweet video. Happy birthday, happy 30. Can't wait to see you again soon. Hope you're having a fantastic time and missing you heaps. Bye now.
Happy 30th, Jess!
Hello, hello, hello. You sound like you're from London, yeah? Well, happy birthday, innit? Innit? Are you saying innit yet? Are you a lad? I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday, Jess. happy 30th. I'm super proud of you because first of all, you survived, you made it. And that's an accomplishment which we can all be proud of. But in all seriousness, super happy birthday. We miss you. I love you. We've been through a lot together, you know, from doing parkour in Don's in nothing but a dinosaur suit, which is somehow still in my childhood bedroom, to traveling New Zealand on what my mother called our love odyssey. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I'm definitely long overdue to get over to the UK to see you. I hope 30 is everything and more that you had expected it to be, but knowing 2020, it's probably everything but. Yeah, super excited for you, miss you, and hope you don't sound too British when you eventually come home.
Happy birthday, Koala Head! Woohoo! Polar bear pajamas for life! Woo woo! Okay. Happy 30th birthday. I love you so much, and I am so proud of the woman that you've become, and I'm so excited for all the great things that you're gonna happen that are coming up in your life. It's so exciting, even though Corona kind of like ruined a lot of it, like whatever. I just hope you have the best birthday, and I cannot wait for the next Koala Head adventure. Like, oh, I legit can't wait. My soul, my body, like I just am so ready to like laugh so much it hurts and drink too much wine and be a silly little monster with you. So I love you and happy birthday, and just have the best day, and don't let anything or anyone ruin it. It should be all about you, about Jess Lang. Bye! Angelica.
This part was always going to be the hardest. The moment I laid eyes on, oh my gosh, you was just a revelation. I give birth to this beautiful baby girl. I come out of that, and sitting in this waiting room, or sitting in the waiting room, is this Bowie type of lady, you know, quite a, I guess you could say, ruddy lady, next to her husband. And they've got this massive bundle in their arms, and just sort of walking through and go, well, look, I've just given birth to my boy, first child, just given birth to my boy on the butcher's block. Well, me, I was thinking that this was some sort of national emergency. So I'm sort of flying out of the way to let them through, and matron comes through and goes, oh yeah, hello. And this lady spots me. So she wants to tell me all about this birth on the butcher's block. And it was just like, you know, this seriously could not be happening. And I went and had a shower, I came back in, and by this stage, you know, she's fine. She's gone to bed, she's asleep, snoring like nobody's ever snored in their life. And I just walked out and I said to matron, come here, like honestly, I can't deal with this. And she walked in, and honestly, the sound in the room was just ridiculous. So she hauled me out and she said, there's absolutely no way you can deal with that. And I brought you in with me, and we had our own private room. And I think it was from that day on, you decided that you were going to have the best of life, and you really weren't going to put up with Fruit Loops too much, I guess, apart from me. I wanted to get it down to the top 10 things that I'm proud of you for. Well, that got out of control, so I got it down to 10 subjects. Then that got out of control. So needless to say, there's a lot that I'm proud of. One of the things that I absolutely love is our travel together. The first time I ever travelled in my life overseas was with you. We went to the Moulin Rouge. Now, apparently I had promised you that. You know, I may not have, but anyway, we got to the Moulin Rouge for your birthday. And when I started to think about that, I also started to think about, you know what? the 3 drunkest times I have ever been in my adult life has also been with you. I want to kind of go back to your 16th birthday, which I really didn't think that I could ever supersede that, but I actually did. Now, I honestly thought that that was the absolute peak, that I could not get any more drunk than what I did until Moscow. Well, those Red Square cocktails were really dangerous. If Putin ever wants to take out the world, just share a couple of those around. No, well, we fought pretty much all over the Ritz-Carlton, as we like to do sometimes when we've had a few. But honestly, Jess, I woke up that next day and thought, I'm just so too old for any of this. But I have to say, the places that we've been and the fun that we've had, even just moving into Nobby Beach and going across the road for a cocktail or a Long Island tea, I so miss that, and I can't wait until we're doing those sorts of things again as well, honey. For about 2 years you demanded of me that you be a woman. All you wanted to do was be a woman, and you'd stand there with your hands on your hips and go, I want to be a woman, I want to be a woman. And because of my sarcastic sense of humour, because sometimes you would throw in too, and Mum, I want to do the marriage kiss. Just like, oh well, you wait until, you know, you find out how good that really is. And of course that would set you off even more. Anybody who was listening, they would laugh. And I can remember I just said to you, finally I said to you one day, I thought, oh, this might sort of calm her down. I just sort of said, I go, you know what, guess what, you're a woman now. Well, the rant after that, because clearly you weren't, and I'd misinterpreted the whole thing, but I don't know, it calmed down at some stage. But that kind of, I guess, morphed into you sleeping with me until you were 12 and getting up me for reading in the middle of the night. I wasn't allowed to read. So again, that ended up in one of our mammoth arguments where, you know, you finally stalked off into your bedroom, just slamming the door. And I wasn't bothered much after that. In fact, now it was clearly such a traumatic experience that even the thought of sleeping top to tail with me these days, it's not your cup of tea. So I think we cured that need for you to sleep with me a lot. And I used to always have to pat you or tickle you back. Now, when I actually say that went on for hours, it literally went on for hours, not just an hour or two. You know, we'd talk about 5 or 6 hours. And, you know, of course I'd get tired, I'd just switch arms. I actually got to the stage, it was almost like lucid dreaming, where I could still pat you and try and get, you know, some of my brain unconscious at the same time. But sometimes what used to happen is my touch would get too light. And it wouldn't matter, you could be in the deepest of sleeps, could care less. If the touch was too soft, then you would just scream from the depths of your sleep, more. So yeah, you were pretty bossy from the get-go, I'd say, lady. I can remember Dave, you and Dave, just getting into these fits of hysteria. And as a lot of people who've known us for a while would know, that we'd had some, you know, not so good times with extended families. And I don't know, we had to go on this family dinner together at some golf club, and it was all you could eat. Well, we get in there, I don't know what it was. You weren't, I really still to this day have not worked out what you were laughing at. You and Dave laughed, not just laughed like giggling and trying to hold it in. I just roaring with laughter for the entire time we were there. And of course the effect that had was just complete awkwardness at the family, you know, bonding session. Oh, it was just absolute madness. But your laugh, honestly, it's one of the best things in my life for sure. Then along came Joel. Joel. Joel, can you drive? Yeah. Okay, can you take me and Jess to the Pines? Yeah. So we get in. And honestly, by the end of Talabudra Drive, I realised then that Joel had never driven a car in his life. Now, while most reasonable and responsible people would have said, Joel, pull over, I'll take over. No, that sort of didn't really enter my mind. Off we went to the Pines, and we actually got there in one piece. Joel's another child of mine, the same as I think of Kat, and I think of Heidi, Shania and Shakira. I think of Joel as one of my children. They know that. You guys have been great in our lives, and thank you so much. And I want to say too, pugs. You told me many years ago I wouldn't even know that I have a pug, and now I can't travel. Your love for animals, especially cats. You forced me into getting a cat, and you said to me, you will never even know that you have a cat. I can promise you that. When we got to mother, and we've got 12 kittens, and we've actually got 13 cats, and you were pleading for their lives, just pleading, you know, tears streaming down, and I could see all of a sudden you had this enlightenment. It was like this little light bulb. I could see the light bulb going off in your head, and you put your hands on your hips and you said in your haughtiest voice, how could you even think about giving away your grandchildren? And I said, well, technically they're my grandchildren, and if you remember, I don't have a cat. So there was a lot of screaming after that, because it wasn't always good to sort of point out something or to be reminded. But you got your 13 cats, so you got your own way at the end of the day with that. Same with the pugs. You know, you bought yourself half a pug. Can you hear all of that going outside? And that is a synchronistic event. There's this wild little, I'm pretty sure there's a tribe, like I'm serious, this is live. There's a tribe of Amazonian children who have somehow escaped with their sticks and their spears, and they're outside sort of throwing them at Charlie. Dave, if you, I don't know, it might be here in the background, he'll zip out at some stage or another, and you'll hear Charlie being hosed. So that's kind of what you're missing out on here. But so yeah, thanks for the pugs. There's 3 now. There you go. One of the things that I did want to say that I really admire you for was your decision to go to university. Again, that just opened up so many new people coming into our lives, friends, and as you can tell, Jess, it's also these later friends as well, who we've all worked together for the last couple of months putting these videos together. I would say one of the disappointments of this year, of course, is you not coming home, and that lockdown would just be for a tiny while and you'd come out. And the biggest disappointment was I always had this vision that all of us would be together So look, there's a lot going on, and you know, talking about the future and your future, it's looking so bright. You just made some amazing decisions. You had a rock and you walked away from it to do something completely new at the beginning of the year. And again, that's as smart as a decision that you've ever made, I think. So again, it's been quite a ride. What I want to say is, one of the things that I thought about is your 50th video. You've got another 20 years. Look what we've done as a family. Look what you've done not just in the last 5 years. You started work when you were 13 or 14. Hamburgers at Hungry Jack's. You know, you had to take the reins there, and you know, take over all the birthday bashes and events. It's interesting that you were always sort of drawn to, you know, to that sort of thing. So I have to say, we are both so proud of you, and hopefully that rainbow that we saw in 2006 actually has a fucking pot of gold in it, so that I can dip into it and just flit about when and how I like. I certainly see myself one day living with you for a period of time, whatever that might be. Certainly in some exotic, you know, perhaps snow-filled country somewhere. I certainly would want it sooner than later, but we have to manifest. Perhaps given time, and now I think everyone is starting to see how genuinely everyone made a difference. It's been great. So I hope this all ended up as being a massive surprise for you. I cannot wait to see your reaction, that me, with my complete lack of technology, have been able to have a surprise 30th birthday party for you. We know it's not Portugal, okay, that's where we would all have liked to have been, but I think as a result of the coronavirus, I think what I want to say to everyone is that this is a time for us to connect. We're not meant to be socially distancing, we're meant to be socially connecting. Look, people are festy, so stay away from them in a physical sense. The universe has got it right. People are going to breathe over you. You're going to die, okay? So I'm on board with all of that. But right now, it's also asking us to cleanse our lives. And I feel that what we've connected here just through Zoom, something without coronavirus, I would never have known about this technology at all. I think that we can help heal ourselves and help heal the world, because the friendships and the love that we've all developed, as I said, over the last 30 years, which is in evidence today, is really meaningful. And at the end of the day, what our life has been about, it's really been about all the people who are sitting here today wishing you a happy birthday. And that's where true love and loyalty lay. I love you.
Dance party. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Jess! We started getting caught. Happy birthday, Jess! Alright, 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Jess! We hope you have an amazing birthday. Can't wait to celebrate when we see you next. Sucks that you can't be here, but we love you! And happy birthday. Elkie also says, happy birthday! We love you!
Hey Jess, happy 30th birthday. We love and miss you so much and hope you have the best day ever. You've always been like a sister to us and we're so grateful to have you in our lives. Love you.
Hey Jess,
I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and I decided to come down on the beachfront because I needed a beautiful location to do it. And I hope you can hear me over all of these waves, but it's been such a really fun thing to edit your birthday video and learning things about you that I didn't know I thought after all of this time I would have known everything there is to know about you, but apparently there's always more. I just wanted to say that I love you a lot, and I'm really sad that we can't be celebrating your birthday together this year, but we're going to make up for it in future years, and who knows, maybe we'll just celebrate your 30th for next year and the year after and the year after that, and we'll just make a big deal out of it. I love you a lot, and I miss you, and I hope you're doing super well. Well, I know you're doing super well over there, and can't wait to see you next time. All right, catch you later. Bye.
I hope you have a lovely day.